6 psychological reasons people suddenly lose interest in you. Have you ever noticed that someone was talking to you every day? They replied quickly. They wanted to know everything about you. They seemed genuinely interested. And then suddenly, their messages became shorter. Their replies became slower. They stopped asking questions. And you started wondering, what happened? Did I do something wrong? Did they lose interest in me? Sometimes the answer has nothing to do with you. Human behavior is complicated, and people can suddenly change the way they communicate for many psychological reasons. Today, let's look at 6 possible reasons why someone may suddenly lose interest or become distant. The first reason is emotional exhaustion. Sometimes people don't lose interest in you. They simply lose the emotional energy to interact with anyone. Stress, work, family problems, financial pressure, personal struggles, or simply feeling mentally exhausted can make someone withdraw. When a person is emotionally tired, even replying to a simple message can feel like another responsibility. You might think, they don't care about me anymore, but they may actually be struggling with something you know nothing about. This is why we should be careful about interpreting someone's silence as rejection. The second reason is that the excitement has disappeared. In the beginning of a new relationship or friendship, everything feels interesting. You are discovering new things about each other. Every conversation feels fresh. Your brain receives excitement from novelty, but after some time, that novelty naturally decreases. The person may become more comfortable and less intense. This doesn't always mean they stopped caring. Sometimes it simply means the relationship has moved from excitement into familiarity. The problem is that many people confuse reduced excitement with reduced feelings. They expect the beginning of a relationship to continue forever, but healthy connections usually become calmer over time. The third reason is that they were attracted to the attention, not the connection. This can be painful to accept. Some people enjoy being wanted. They enjoy receiving messages, compliments, attention, and emotional support, but they may not actually want a deeper relationship. When they receive enough attention, their motivation can decrease. At first, they may seem extremely interested, but once they feel that they have your attention, they stop making the same effort. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. Someone who gives you enormous attention for 3 days and disappears for 2 weeks may be less emotionally invested than someone who communicates with you consistently. Don't judge people only by how strongly they start. Watch how consistently they behave. The fourth reason is that they expected something different from the relationship. Sometimes 2 people enter the same connection with completely different expectations. One person may want friendship, the other may want romance. One person may want something serious, the other may simply want casual conversation. At the beginning, these differences may not be obvious, but as time passes, expectations become clearer. If someone realizes that the relationship isn't going in the direction they wanted, they may slowly distance themselves. This doesn't necessarily mean someone is a bad person. It may simply mean that 2 people wanted different things. The fifth reason is fear of emotional closeness. This one is especially interesting. Some people want connection, but become uncomfortable when the connection becomes too deep. They may enjoy getting close to someone. They may share personal things. They may make you feel important. But when they realize they are becoming emotionally attached, they become afraid. They start creating distance. They may reply less. They may avoid serious conversations. They may suddenly become cold. From the outside, it looks confusing, but psychologically, Some people protect themselves by creating distance when they feel vulnerable. They may not be running away from you. They may be running away from their own emotions. And the sixth reason is perhaps the simplest. Their priorities changed. People change. Their interests change. Their goals change. Their relationships change. Their responsibilities change. Someone who had plenty of time for you 6 months ago may not have the same time today. Sometimes we take someone's changing behavior personally because we remember how they used to treat us. We think, they used to care so much. Why don't they anymore? But people are not permanently frozen in one emotional state. Their lives continue to change, and sometimes their attention moves somewhere else. This doesn't automatically mean that you weren't valuable. It means their priorities are different now. So what should you do when someone suddenly becomes distant? The first thing is, don't immediately blame yourself. Your mind will naturally search for a reason. You may replay every conversation. You may look for the exact moment when everything changed. But sometimes there is no single moment. Sometimes the explanation exists entirely outside of you. Second, don't chase someone endlessly for an explanation. If someone needs space, give them space. If they genuinely value the relationship, healthy communication can eventually bring clarity. But repeatedly sending messages, asking for reassurance, or trying to force someone's attention usually makes the situation more stressful. Third, pay attention to patterns instead of isolated moments. Everyone has bad days. Everyone gets busy. Everyone sometimes replies late. One quiet day doesn't tell you much, but repeated behavior tells you much more. If someone consistently makes no effort, constantly ignores you, and only appears when they need something, that pattern deserves your attention. And finally, remember this: someone losing interest in you does not automatically mean there is something wrong with you. You cannot force someone to feel something. You cannot make someone stay, and you don't have to convince someone of your worth. The right relationships don't require you to constantly prove that you're worth someone's attention. Sometimes people leave because they changed. Sometimes they leave because they wanted something different. Sometimes they leave because they were never as emotionally invested as you were. And sometimes they simply weren't the right person for your life. It can hurt, but understanding this can also give you freedom. Instead of asking, "What is wrong with me?" try asking, "What is this situation teaching me?" Maybe it's teaching you to value consistency over attention. Maybe it's teaching you to stop chasing people who don't reciprocate. Or maybe it's teaching you that your self-worth should never depend on someone else's level of interest. Because people can change their feelings. People can change their priorities. People can walk away. But your value doesn't disappear when someone stops recognizing it. So if someone suddenly becomes distant, don't immediately panic. Pause, observe, communicate if necessary, and then allow their actions to give you the answer. Because sometimes silence is not a mystery that you need to solve. Sometimes it's simply information. If you enjoyed this psychology video, subscribe for more simple explanations about human behavior, relationships, emotions, and the hidden psychology behind everyday life. And remember, never chase someone so hard that you forget to value yourself.